I'm Kevin.
And I'm Stacy.
And we love to do projects and different things we can do ourselves.
For a couple of reasons. One, because we just enjoy it. And two, because we love to save money.
And that allows us to be free. Okay, we have a 5x8 conversion custom Jeep camper that we pull behind our Jeep. And one of the things that I've put on my motorhome and also my fifth wheel in the past are these backup cameras. This one is Lee Kulu, I guess. I've had, this is my third one I've had. This is a really good quality. It's about 115, 130 bucks depending on the day on Amazon. The link is below. It's easy to set up. The nice thing about for inside your cab, you can actually use a cigarette lighter, which I'm going to use because I'm going to switch it between my two Jeeps. Or there is actually another cable that you can do that you can go right into your fuse box so it automatically goes in. There's multiple ways to mount this as well. There's several different mounts for inside your car, including a suction cup for the windshield, which is probably what I will use because I'll be switching it between the two. The camera has a single antenna, and what I like about this is there's dual antennas on the receiver and it picks up really well. There's no interference. I've had some before that have had some interference. Now, this comes with a number of different cables as well. It comes with a long cable to connect to with two wires. Now, I just happen to have this from the last time I did one. I basically took this cable and cut it down and stripped the wires, and that's what I'm going to use, because what I have done already is, if you look up here on the camper, there are a series of little LED lights. So I removed this LED light here and then cut and stripped the wire, and if you can see, there's only one wire there. There's only one wire, but what it does is it has the grounding apparatus here as part of the actual light. So when we go to mount this, we'll hook our red to our red, but then we'll have to ground the black to the Jeep, or to the rescue wagon, and that should give us the power we need. The way it's set up is when you turn these lights on with your either your running lights or your headlights, that's what powers that's what powers the camera. Okay, so one of the things I dislike about the wiring on this is the wires are so tiny. So I want to put one on this so I can ground it, but it's pretty good size in there. So I've stripped this extra and I'm going to try to fold it into a couple different pieces so that it actually thickens the wire so that when I crimp it on there, it actually grabs it. This is the wire that we're going to connect to the red wire that is the power supply onto the trailer. I'm going to use a little heat shrinking connector, and I did fold the wire over on this as well just because it's so tiny. So I'm going to crimp that on there. If I can get it in there. Make sure it's I'm going to go connect this red wire to the red wire up there. This wire coming out is a little bit more sturdy, so I don't have to break that one or fold that one in half. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is get a heat gun and shrink this around there. We connected the wire with the heat shrinking connector. Then I connected the ground to here. So now I'm going to mount the camera over top of this, bringing this through. And then, but what I'm going to have to do is kind of finagle this through a little bit. When I mount this on, I got to mount it actually on top of it. So I'm going to have to put a couple layers of butyl tape in between there because the length of the wire coming out wasn't long enough for me to put a connector on far enough out. So it's going to have to sit across there. So I'm going to make up the difference in the space with butyl tape, and that's also going to help me seal it as well. So what I'm going to do is try to make the butyl tape the same length as the camera, and just cut several pieces, put them in on top, underneath, making sure that I seal everything up in there good with the butyl tape. And then what I'll do in the very end is I'll put a little bit of clear silicone across the top. So basically my butyl tape pieces need to be about that long. So I'm going to cut several pieces that same length. Okay, so I've got the butyl tape on there. I'm going to move my camera up into position so it's pretty much centered. Use a self-tapping sheet metal screw going in. Enough leverage. Alright, so now gotta move the ladder a little bit so I can get some leverage on the other side. Getting leverage when you're trying to screw this stuff in is somewhat difficult. So now with this cord, the other thing I don't like is it kind of comes with its own little long cord. You have to pretty much kind of wrap it around and then plug it in. So try to see which way goes the best here. I think that way is going to work the best. And then I need to make sure I plug it in to this. So once we have it plugged in, then I can kind of tuck it down in. And then what I'm going to do is put a couple of zip ties just to kind of hold it up out of the way there. Make sure my antenna is tight. And peel off my protective camera layer. Before I put the zip tie on, we're going to go up to the front of the to the Jeep and see if this is working. So I'm using the cigarette lighter one because I'm going to be moving it between Jeeps. So what I do is I plug it in, turn my stuff on, and you can see, I can see in my garage it is working correctly. So we are pretty good to go. I'm going to let that butyl tape sit on there a little while, and then I'm going to trim it off and then put a bead of silicone around it so that it'll have it, make sure that it's extra protected. Another successful project, you know, we put this camera in not so much so we could back up, because it's not that hard to back up, but it works really good as a rear view mirror when you're going down the road and you're wanting to switch lanes. So we're super pumped about that, and doing things yourself allows you to be free.
Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. You can also follow us on Instagram at BeFreeBensonDIY and check out our adventures on our YouTube channel, Be Free Benson Adventure.